convene the January 12th, 2026 Personnel and Policy Committee meeting to order at 7 p.m. Jackie, please call the roll.
Vanessa Berry.
Here.
Emily Swistar.
Here.
Karen Larson.
Here.
Laura Paley.
Here.
Tatiana Weinstein.
Here.
Will Savage.
Here.
Okay, agenda item 2 is opportunity for visitors to speak. Public comment is for the general public to address the board. Each person will have up to 5 minutes to provide public comment. Seeing none. Agenda item 3 is to approve August 4th, 2025 Personnel and Policy Committee meeting minutes. Can I have a motion in a second?
I move to approve the minutes of the August 4th, 2025 Personnel and Policy Committee meeting. Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, Jackie, can you call the roll?
Vanessa Berry.
Aye.
Emily Swistar.
Aye.
Karen Larson.
Aye.
Laura Paley.
Aye.
Okay, agenda item 4 is to discuss LLD Policy 100, Vision, Mission, and Values. Director Weinstein, can you walk us through that?
Sure. So this is the very first policy in our policy manual. It used to be called Strategic Plan for the Lisle Library District, and I never understood why, because we have a strategic plan, and really all the current policy does is go through our vision, mission, and values. So we changed the title to vision, mission, and values. I'm going to go over the changes in kind of like little brief summaries, and then we can talk about any changes that the committee wants to put forward. So I provided an introductory paragraph that can be changed in any way, shape, or form. And then the vision, mission, and values, the first under vision, just made it more inclusive to include the public at large. The mission stayed the same. Under the value statements, those were reworded. I used more strategic plan language in the vision and in the value statements, but I kept all of the ones that were there, just reworded them slightly. That's my summary. So are there any changes you'd like to make to the clean copy?
The only thing I noticed on the clean copy is that there's still the strike through on those 2 lowercase e's on educate and empower.
Oh. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nicely done.
Yeah, other than that, good to me. Any other issues? So are we comfortable bringing this one to the full board?
Yeah, I am.
Do I need to do a motion in a second for that, or no? That's just,
No.
That's, okay. So agenda item 5 is to discuss LLD Policy 300, library cards.
Okay, you want me to go? Okay, so the last time we revised this was in 2021. Sometimes different laws happen, things like that. So the only change that it was made in this entire policy was in the introductory sentence to include unincorporated Woodridge, because there's a new development on Route 53, and part of that development is in our district. So we wanted to include unincorporated areas of Woodridge. That's the only change.
And then there was the A under D3 in the back. It got
Oh, sorry, yes.
saved. Which was that just because it was the statutes written in there and it was just to separate, like, why
Yeah.
was that, is that what that A was added for?
Yeah, there were, just so like if we needed to call an area, call a section out, there was an A there.
One question I had, is there a separate policy about library card renewals?
Specific to renewals, there's
Or is-
probably information. What's the question?
Well, I was just wondering if that should be in here.
You mean like reference it?
It does.
Yeah, or just,
Well, look at number A4. Library cards are valid for 2 years and are renewable pursuant to proof of district residency and LLD policy.
Okay.
And then we have that new
Automatic.
automatic
right, so
renewal.
I was wondering if the automatic renewal stuff needed to.
I mean, we
Could
could
be in there.
We could place something in there about having automatic renewals, absolutely. Yeah,
Just so that it's all in one place, if people are like
that's a
looking for
good point,
information.
that's a good point.
Mhm.
What area?
It's
A4
A4,
area, okay. We can add a sentence there, and then we can look at a full board meeting if we like the sentence or not.
And the other thing, under C1, this includes multiple non-resident owners or those who lease taxable property, and it was just really confusing the first time I read it.
I flagged that as well. I reread it a couple of times to
Yeah.
make sure I understood what it meant.
This includes multiple non-resident owners. It just means that if there's more than one person
Mhm.
who don't live here and own
Or
property.
lease, yeah.
We can reword it. How would you like to reword it?
Maybe just take out the comma after non-resident. It's multiple non-resident owners.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Take out the commas?
Sure.
Or
After
just-
non-resident, just.
Multiple comma, non-resident owners or those who
Wait.
lease taxable property. Is that what you're saying?
I
Vanessa?
don't, oh,
You're the English major.
well, and I wasn't the language, I'm a language, but not English. This includes multiple, so you're saying it, just to be clear, so is it multiple owners, non-resident owners, or like, what is it?
More than one.
More than one what?
More than
More than one non-resident owner.
So this includes multiple non-resident owners,
It could just be
So-
non-resident owners,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
Because
That's
it's
true.
gonna,
So
it's gotta.
get rid of multiple and the comma, get rid of the comma between non-resident and owners, and
Mhm.
just, this includes non-resident owners or those who lease taxable property.
Yeah, that's good.
That's fair.
That helps.
That's
Does that
great.
make
Non-
sense?
Yep.
This includes non-resident owners or those
Got
who
it,
lease
okay.
taxable property.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a plural anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
That was
Okay.
all I had. Anything else?
That was it for me.
Okay, are we comfortable bringing this one to the full board?
Yep.
Great. So agenda item 6 is to discuss LLD policy 340, internet access and public computer use. So Director Weinstein, walk us through.
Okay, so the last time this one was revised was in 2023, so not so long ago. I had the IT staff also review this. What's new, that we never had before was we included Wi-Fi access and mobile printing. So that it's all in one place, as the other policies are. So that's included in the introduction. In the paragraph below the introduction, what do I say? Just included that guest passes are available at any public service desk. It's not strictly one area at circulation. Any public service desk can issue a guest pass. So that's what was changed there. And again, Wi-Fi access. Then all of the like ABCs, they used to be all in caps, so that's why they're red. They're just to be consistent with all the other policies, they're not all in caps, so that's why that's in red. And then reordered 1 through 4.
Yep.
And just new information regarding sounds and limited amount of privacy, because that is the case. And the sounds was added because we've had patrons say, isn't this supposed to be a quiet library? You know, I'm trying to study, but it is a public space. So we've never had a policy to point to let people know that, you know, please understand that this is the case. Of course, you know, staff have to, you know, assist people and things like that. So that's why we wanted to put something like that in there. Under B, the change was made, reverting to the second paragraph. I'm trying to see. Not much, it's just a rewording here to make it clearer to read. Under C, nothing really changed there. Under D, just made it a little bit of a softer land in terms of shall, and in general, we cannot, instead of saying we shall not provide. Under user awareness, we added the word equipment in there. Removed the word, the phrase hate speech, because that is indeed protected speech. And then F was unchanged, and G was the added new paragraph about Wi-Fi, and then under policy violation, there was no change there. So is there any changes or edits to the link?
I noticed something super minor,
Sure.
that we capitalized library in the second sentence of the first paragraph, valid library, capital L cards. But in the paragraph down below, twice, we have it lowercase, like patrons with valid library cards, and then 2 lines below that, eligible for a library card.
Don't we
No,
use
yeah.
capital when we're
Just for
talking about
us.
our library,
Yeah, maybe
right?
that first
Mhm.
one is a no.
That's what I'm wondering, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So is that the only?
So then
Yes.
that
Yes,
first
talk
one should
about
be a
minor.
lowercase.
The first one would be
right?
lowercase, that's what I was wondering, okay.
Correct. Good catch.
Perfect.
In the first paragraph, I had some edits to the one about patrons may also utilize the LLD's mobile printing app, that one.
Okay.
So, I don't know how everyone else thinks about this, but patrons may also utilize the LLD's mobile printing app for printing from a home computer, get rid of the comma, or from a personal laptop or mobile device while within the facility. Is what I was editing it
So
to.
add the from, get rid of the comma.
From so get rid of the comma, or from a personal laptop or mobile device while within the facility. Instead of from within this
Oh.
facility.
While.
Yeah, I think that's clear.
And then there was a lot of throughout, like the new policies or edited policies, there's a lot of via or via, however you want to say it. So, in this one, I just thought it sounded better to say by visiting LisleLibrary.org, but
Where? Where?
the last sentence in that paragraph, access to mobile printing can be found by visiting LisleLibrary.org.
Bye.
And then in the next paragraph, in the middle, it says visitor apostrophe S pass, but then the start of the next sentence just says visitor passes. So is it a visitor's pass or is it a visitor pass? Do you see what I'm asking? So is it is it a possessive? Is it a visitor's pass or is
We
it a
could just
visitor
say
pass?
visitor pass, I think.
Okay. Because they were both kinds there.
Yes.
And I wanted to make sure that it was the same. So it's just visitor pass, right? Okay. Okay.
I just caught one other detail. At the very end of the first paragraph, it says via or visiting LisleLibrary.org.
Oh, look at that, library instead of library.
Did not notice that earlier.
Nice, me neither. There's another website one in a later policy I noticed, it's missing the dot not before
Oh.
or, but that was another one.
Okay.
And then in E, this just has, under 1, the top part, and then A, and then in 2, there's via or via in 3 different places right there. And I don't know if we want to like switch it so that's not all the same, or if everyone's fine with it being the same. So in E1, it says the LLD does not assume responsibility for materials accessed via the internet. And then A says may or may not reliable or provided via a reliable source. And then in 2, the LLD assumes no responsibility for any loss or damage to data directly or indirectly via the use of LLD computers or equipment. So I don't know if anyone has strong feelings about it or not, or if it's fine or
We
or
use
what.
via in a lot of policy.
Yeah.
Because there's choices, like
Yes.
you could say through.
Right,
By.
right. It
um,
just, because I was freshly reading it, it just stood out to me. So I mean, I don't care anyway. I don't know how everyone else feels about it, so.
I just wanted to be consistent, but
Yeah.
we can change it up if that's what the committee wants.
Either way.
Either way, yeah.
Either way.
Okay, good.
One question I had was the user awareness E4 seems very repetitive to the legal and ethical issues. So I was wondering like why they were separate. Is it just because legal has to be separated out, or because I felt like they were kind of saying the same thing, that they have to comply with the code of conduct, and here are the inappropriate things. And then that's kind of repeated again in the legal and ethical issues.
Do we talk about police involvement in legal and ethical, and do we talk about audible sound?
I feel like the police thing was in a different
That's in-
policy.
That's in
Right.
E4. I mean, that's also in 610. We're just trying to
Right,
let people know have to follow 610 and then describing why this is connected to 610. And the legal and ethical is more, you can be arrested for these things.
For those things.
Possibly
Yeah.
violating law,
Mhm.
licensing, and things like that. And the user awareness is just
It's kind of like a general.
a general. I don't think it hurts.
Oh, I see.
I'll say this policy is one that a lot of staff refer to on the regular when we run into behavioral issues at the public PCs. So I think having more
Mhm.
than
Is
less
better,
is better in those conditions, situations.
Oh, that makes sense.
Just making sure we cover everything for
Mhm.
staff benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That was all I had. Did anyone else have any other? Are we comfortable bringing this over to the board?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Great. Next is agenda item 7, which is to discuss LLD policy 342, social media. Director Weinstein, do you want to talk us through this one?
Okay, so last time we did this was went way back in 2019, which doesn't seem that long ago, but in technology terms, it is a long time
Yeah.
ago. Reworded the introductory paragraph to be a little more modern, I would say, providing some more clarity there. Also, under A, providing more clarity about making sure it's personal social media accounts is what we're talking about here. 1 through 6, just used LLD for consistency throughout, some changes there. Number 5 is should use professional, responsible, respectful communications. And then number 6 is a new line there, should not communicate on behalf of the library. And then it refers to policy 400, which is a completely new revision to that policy, and we'll get to that. Under B, just a new header to be more clear. This is about designated employees using social media, just better language throughout B. Under number 4, we removed offensive and personal, just because we think that's, or I think it's a bit vague regarding what we're talking about there, making it more clear to people what we're discussing. And then D, we're just, instead of just the code of conduct, we're talking about all policies. Under C, the change is just better language at the bottom there to talk about photos and or video. Under D, what did I change here? Referring again to policy 400, making it clear that their comments do not represent the views of the library. Again, trustees, same as the employee statement, that should use professional responsible behavior. And I changed 7 and 8 to should instead of shall, just because we can't force people to do that. We just are trying
Recommend
to
it.
encourage,
Yeah.
encourage that.
Encourage.
And I can't remember, and I know Emily probably, or Karen, you've been here the longest, but I don't know if we, way back in 2019, pushed for should, maybe we had should before, and then we pushed for shall, and now I'm changing it back to should.
I feel like we had lots of conversations about if it should be should or shall or
Yeah.
will or whatever, like, and we, yeah.
And just after the however many years since 2019, and getting rid of some of the language like offensive. That's just too general a term, like it's very subjective, but using some more legal language there, and then just have, in the spirit of free speech, like people can do whatever they want, but they shouldn't do this per our policy. That's why I went that route.
Yeah.
That's my summer.
I think that makes sense because technically they can, it's just
We'd
not
rather not.
encouraged.
We
We'd
would
I'd
yeah,
prefer not, right?
We'd rather not, but.
Yeah.
I just had a couple of like, grammatical edits. So, in the top, after the, so not the first paragraph, but the line below it, the term social media. So the term, get rid of that comma. So the term social media includes comma, but is not limited, just the rest of it is fine. And then, on page 28, D number 5, it's
Yeah.
missing the comma between professional and responsible. So in the staff one, it has the comma there,
Oh, yeah,
but it just got missed in the
got it.
editing part. And I was gonna ask you too about under C, that last sentence, LLD staff will make every effort to inform patrons that photos and or video are being taken. We usually have signs posted, right, that say, okay,
We have a sign in the other room, and when we have staff out and about during events, we're like, can we take your picture? You know, we're taking pictures, and if people are like, no, we move along.
and, well, and just as an aside, but whenever there's the photo booth and we do it, they say, are you okay with us saving a copy for the library and
Yes.
posting it? So like they ask every single time there too, so.
My only other grammatical thing was the first sentence in the intro, do we need and after shared ideas? So it's a communication tool that allows for community engagement, conversations around shared ideas, alerts about important topics, services, and resources.
Oh, I think it's, the and is there because it's and alerts. And then the alerts gets specified. The rest of them are all about the kind of alerts they are.
Oh, okay.
I think that's why that and was there.
That's how I read that
right?
too. Yeah.
Because it's another list that is starting.
And it's the kind of
So
alerts.
that's-
So keep the end?
So,
Keep the end.
Okay.
Look at us.
right?
Yes, yeah.
And alert, so that, because we could just get rid of alerts. I mean, everything after alerts, and it would be
Because without
fine.
the and, it says allows for community engagement, conversation around shared ideas, alerts about important topics, services,
Oh,
and it
yeah, yeah, yeah.
separates so that, because like you said, Emily, the alerts are service alerts, resource alerts. Like they-
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a question under B point C, where we talk about local, state, and federal law. That a few pages prior in policy 340, we capitalized state and federal when talking about authorities.
That's right.
But then over here, we're talking about state and federal law.
I think
I
we
don't know what the
capitalize
guideline,
state.
do we? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen it both ways.
Yeah.
In many like
Yep,
government documents,
Yeah.
and I think what we've done in other policies is we've capitalized it.
okay.
Oh, yeah, this policy violation, local was lowercase, but then state and federal were
Yeah,
capitalized.
yep.
Yeah. So then we'll do the same thing here.
State and federal, yeah.
Is there anything else on that one?
I like the updates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're comfortable bringing this one to the full board?
Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so next is agenda item 8, to discuss LLD policy 400, public relations.
Okay, this is a
I
long
mean,
ago.
yeah.
Super short and then 2 pages.
So the old policy from 2002,
Yeah.
I feel like it just tried to define what the term public relations is. It's a complete rewrite in the draft. So instead of describing what public relations is, it's more about what it means for us as a library, and then the who, what, where standards or statements that we want relating to public relations. So there's an introduction about what it is for us, and then we get into the spokespeople, which is the director and board president. It talks about that. Then we get into employees, and again, we're getting into free speech here, but I want to talk about how employees do represent the library, whether they're on duty or off, and if they state that they are a library employee. And again, they have the right to their own opinions no matter what, but they also have to abide by our policies while they're on duty. So there's some guidelines there. Again, on duty, number 1. Number 2, outside of the director or assistant director or board president or vice president, employees cannot act as spokespeople for the library. However, just again affirming that they do represent the library and that we expect high standards and workplace ethics. And then while off duty, if they do, like on social media, they're saying, I work at the Lisle Library, they should definitely state that their opinions are their own, and they may not use the logo or stationery without permission from the library. So that's under employees. And then C is media. So this is for anything from like an emergency or a disaster, or if there's something controversial regarding libraries, or even legal issues and election issues. So it's important that staff and the public know who to go to. So like if the media requests information from us, this tells you where to go. So like if the media says, I want to talk to your board president, or I want to talk to the board, staff know it's the board president, they'll go through me, I will connect with the board president. And then anything that's like emergency related or controversial topics out there, the director is the spokesperson and will connect with the board president as soon as possible. And then if there's litigation or election issues or official statements that have to go to the public, that'll go through the director and consult with the board president and connect with the board via email. And if required, the attorney will be our spokesperson. And then D is we're talking about brochures and handouts and items with our logo on it. It just has to go through administration to make sure, like, we don't want staff ordering things that may be inappropriate. I don't think that would happen, but we need that in a policy. We want to make sure things are safe and, represent the library in a proper manner. So totally rewrote what public relations is and open to any edits or changes.
I think this is great.
Yeah.
I think it's nice for staff to have that. Like, actually, I can't speak to this. I'm going to send you to the director. Have you had issues in the past, or is it just?
No, but there's been questions like if we had, I'll just bring up one off the top of my head. We had a news organization call the library and said, can we film in a study room for a resident who doesn't want to do the filming in her house? I mean, it's not really an emergency or anything, but they were directed to my office and we dealt with that. But I was thinking ahead for like any emergency situation, and this came about, and it's been on my list for a long time, when Will and I attended the last, I forgot what it was like an emergency, through the police department, they had a session about emergency situations, and we talked about like the best way to communicate to the public. And it always made me think like we don't have anything in policy about when there's an emergency, or like the media wants a statement from the library, like so staff know it's here, this is what you look to. And to the public too, so they know.
I have a couple just edits. In B3, I think there should be a comma between if and while. So if, comma, while off duty, comma, an employee expresses views.
Got it.
And then in C, media, I added some commas as well. The distribution of content via digital platforms, comma, such as television, radio, and internet channels, adding in a comma there.
After channels.
Yeah, provide an efficient way to disseminate information. Print media outlets, comma, such as newspapers and magazines, comma, may also request information from an institution. And then in D, I added some commas in the top part. Promotional vehicles and platforms, comma, such as newsletters, social media, blah, 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 and press releases, comma, shall be coordinated by the director.
Okay.
And then in one, so D1, I wanted to switch because there were the two meets, and so I wanted to change it to such items shall be reviewed and approved by the director before an order is placed to ensure it meets both the needs of the LLD and quality design standards.
Yeah, that sounds better.
So just little edits, but like I really like how, I mean, really looking back to what it was before.
Yeah.
Which is really like nothing.
2013.
And, no, 2002.
2002.
This was,
Yeah.
so like just looking at that and then seeing, I mean, so much has changed and then having it really like spelled out so everyone knows, okay, you gotta go to the director. Like, I think is really,
Or president.
through you. But I think it's really helpful to have that in place, especially when things arise. Because I was thinking back even to like when COVID and we had to close, you know, like that decision that things have to come from, you know, the director. So anyway,
Yep.
so I appreciate having that all.
When was
But-
policy 635 last updated
6:35?
that you reference in G?
Signs and promotional literature.
Oh, 635. I feel like we did that sometime since
Yeah.
I've been on the board.
It was
So
a couple of
recent.
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't.
So it's pretty current?
Yeah, everything that's been referenced here I've reviewed. and
Okay.
Okay.
Doesn't,
Okay.
if we're not reviewing it today, why are you laughing? Because I took like 2 weeks of doing this.
I'm laughing because that is why there are so many of these, is
Yeah.
because she would write one and see,
And then-
oh, wait, this is
oh,
referenced,
yeah.
I gotta check this,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, got
then she
it.
was like, oh, now
Down
I
the
gotta do
rabbit
this.
hole.
It's true,
It's like
2
a
weeks.
rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Got
did
it.
review 6:05, everything looked okay.
I think we did 635. I mean,
A couple of years ago.
yeah, I mean, because we talked about signs on property and things like that on the library property and stuff, so. That might be nice just
Okay.
to look at it again at some point.
Great, are we good
Yeah,
with bringing
that's
this
fine.
one to the full board?
Mhm.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, the next policy is, agenda item 8 to discuss, or 9 to discuss policy 410, which is going to be dissolved, maybe.
Maybe.
Want to talk about this?
Sure, it's 2 sentences basically, and it really just reiterates what our strategic plan says, what our now policy 100 says. I just don't think we need a policy that says that we partner with people and we try to create great friendships with other organizations and things like that. Just
Sure.
not sure we need this.
Yeah, I feel like this is mentioned in quite a few other policies.
Yeah, and it's really,
It's
it's
kind
in
of
our
redundant,
strategic plan,
yeah.
it's in our vision,
Yeah.
mission and
Yeah.
values, it's everything, so.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So the next agenda item, number 10, to discuss LLD policy 6665, recording, photography, audio, and video. You want to walk us through the changes on that?
Yes, so this was last updated in 2021. Firstly, took off the at the LLD at the top. I think I changed that, McLean. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't need that. And the introductory statement is just fine. Changed, just under number A1, accessory lights, because people can have lights on their cameras, but I was thinking of like standing lights. I didn't know what other phrase to use there. And then just related to policy 610, the whole policy, even though, and it's not number 16 anymore because we changed that policy, so we added more stuff, so I didn't wanna leave like the number in policy 610, I just wanna leave policy 610, so it's easier in case we update policy 610 again, we don't have to like change this in this policy again. Number 4 did the same. We had removed policy 910 and combined it with one, so these are the relevant policies that are referenced there in number 4. And then instead of using performing, use the word conducting in number 5. Under B, I got rid of the policy, it says related policy, that doesn't jive there. Under 3, I added obstruct patrons and staff from enjoying or conducting outdoor events, and this is more in reference to our vacant lot that we're going to be doing something with, just to add that opportunity there. C was not changed, just better wording in D. And let's see, just some small changes in B through E there. And then number 2, just for more clarity, changed B, number 2B. So, open to edits.
What does it mean by recording copyrighted materials under C, patron obligations? Solely responsible for obtaining consent or other permissions when recording copyrighted materials.
Someone could record music or,
Record a
movie
story
being
time,
shown.
Yeah.
like reading a book.
Yep.
That could cause issues if then they then post it. So that we are not responsible for X book
If
being
you
read,
do
it is
that,
the
yeah.
person who.
Okay.
or if we have like a performer or somebody here that is, I don't know, has some proprietary something, although people can do that in a public meeting. It's just, if it's copyright,
Yeah.
you know, that's
Putting
a
it on the
problem.
internet.
I don't know if the word recording is correct, though. I'm thinking about it.
What?
Instead of saying when recording copyright, because it could be, well, recording is also for photographs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. An inclusive word, I guess.
It's just a, yeah, oh, audio, video recording, okay.
And then my other question was on A4. Audio video recording shall not compromise a patron or employee's right to privacy. Now, with the First Amendment groups coming in and recording, is does this kind of block them from recording just anything? Because
No.
how does that work?
No.
I wasn't sure how.
So
that
it's
related to-
it's in legal terms, it's like a reasonable, having a reasonable amount of privacy. So like, if you are checking out a stack of books and we've got an auditor and they're filming your stack of books
Okay.
while you're checking them out, they cannot do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's just an example of that. And video recording, if you use the restroom and someone's got their camera over the stall, that is, you're expected to have that reasonable amount of privacy, even though it's a public building. And they're not
Yep.
allowed to do that.
Couple of questions. So I was just about this, we talked about the related policies, right, where you're referencing them. Do you have I feel like we probably talked about this at some point, but do you have a master list of just the policy numbers and then which policies are referenced in them? Or do you do a control F to find them when you're editing, or what do you do?
More of a control F.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't have a master
Okay.
list, because they change and.
Yeah, no, I was just
Sure.
curious, just because we were talking about it, and then Will was talking about how you just kept getting further down the rabbit hole, so I was just curious. Okay, back to this.
Okay.
In B3, so it says may not impede the ingress or egress of patron staff to or from the building. So isn't ingress and egress entering and exiting, so isn't it the same thing then,
It is.
But I mean, we clearly never caught this in 2021, so I just didn't know if it should be edited so that it's not redundant, or,
Was it in 2020?
yeah, well, it just says adopted 2021 and you don't have it read. So it's not a edit.
So then if you just use the word ingress, what would you follow that up with? Ingress to the building? Ingress?
Well,
If you
'cause
take out
ingress is
those middle
coming
words, like,
in.
right, ingress to the building?
I just don't know,
Why
Yeah,
don't you
mean,
just
really.
put entering and exiting? I mean, most people,
entering or exiting the
Yeah.
building.
entering, exiting the building,
yeah.
or,
just keep
or
it-
parking lot, I mean, right, like,
So we could just say outdoor photography or videography may not impede patrons or staff entering or exiting the building.
Sure.
there you go,
Yeah.
yeah,
There you go.
thank you.
Yeah, that's clear.
Okay, and then on D 1C. It's on page, well, I don't know which page you're on. So images / recordings may be used in LD newsletters or other communications, comma, such as on the LD website or social media.
Where's it come?
Mm.
After communications and before such as.
Oh, there. Okay. Got
And
it.
then in E,
Yeah.
we're not supposed to split the infinitive when we do a negative. So instead of all efforts shall be made to not, it should say not to. All efforts should be made not to include participants. I know it sounds funny because we always split the infinitive, but grammatically we're not supposed to. You can ask Lisa.
No, you're right.
Any other questions, comments? Are we good bringing this one to the full board?
Yep, sure.
Great. Next on the agenda, agenda item 11, is to discuss LLD policy 310 privacy.
Okay. This is all new.
Yeah.
And it's a doozy.
Yes. So as I stated in the email to the committee, more and more vendors are requiring that institutions have just a strict privacy policy. And we do mention privacy and confidentiality in a lot of other policies, but we are being asked to present a privacy policy. So this one hopefully encompasses everything regarding privacy at the Lisle Library District. So there's an introduction, and then we get into state law and statute under A. Under B, we're talking about just integrity of our data and resources, digitally using firewalls, network backups, utility software. We also talk about our facility using alarm systems and security cameras, and then refer to policy 670, which is our security policy, which does not need updating. And then under C, with patron accounts, so a lot of the vendors are, before I go forward, they're asking about like patron information, opt-in, opt-out, and also the vendors are asking about credit cards, third-party vendors, all those kind of things. So I broke it up into chunks. So under patron accounts, we just talk about that we only keep patron information for operating the library. We don't do anything else with it. We don't sell it and things like that. We talk about parents and guardians with kids under 18 and how we connect them to their account information. Talk about PIN information, and then refer people to policy 300, which is the one we just did about library cards. Under D, we're talking about public computers and Wi-Fi. We don't track patron browsing on the computers. The browsing history is cleared after a restart. We also have a manual utility software if someone wants to clean their own browsing as they're using. We do talk about limitations of privacy because it is a public institution. People can walk by. The computer monitors aren't hidden from the public, so we encourage people to use caution if they're viewing personal or private or confidential information at a public library. And then there's a statement very similar to the other statement we had about Wi-Fi in this policy, below that. And then referring people to policy 610 and 340 regarding our code of conduct and internet use. And then under E is the credit card kind of chunk. And we talk about we only use credit card and any credit card information for operational purposes only, and that the payment systems may retain patron's name and email address and like the last 4 digits of the credit card. Again, we have to follow PCI compliance, and so those are the standards. Like anytime you do credit card stuff at your library, you must follow those guidelines. So that is needed. Under F, third-party vendors, that's something else that is needed from these vendors. They want to know that we're not selling, renting, or sharing patron information to third-party vendors unless legally required to do so. We recommend that people learn about privacy policies of platforms that we subscribe to if people want to opt in and provide that information. Text messaging, emails, and other digital marketing tools under G. Again, this is the opt-in statements that we have. We give people information about opting in and opting out and who they can call if they have problems, and that's part of the policies that many libraries and other institutions must have when working with these vendors who want privacy policies. You have to let people know how they can get assistance or how to opt in and opt out. And then under recordings, that's just, again, what we just went over, recording, so people understand that we do audio record, we video record, we can take pictures and photographs. That's our privacy
Very nice.
policy.
Very thorough.
Yeah.
But a lot shorter than ones we scroll through on our phones before.
Very tiny print.
Yeah, yeah.
La 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 la. Consent. You open to? Okay. In the opening paragraph in the second sentence, I don't know if there was something with my copy or if it's there, but it looks like there's an apostrophe at patrons, but
Yep.
there shouldn't be.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's the verb consent, not the noun. Okay. And then in C, patron accounts, I was struggling with the third to last sentence. The LLD will link the accounts of children under the age of 18 with their parents' or guardians' accounts, just because there needs to be some possessive in there. So instead, my suggestion is the LLD will link the accounts of children under the age of 18 with the account of their parents or guardians. Otherwise, you've got apostrophes that need to go in there and all that sorts of stuff. So, with the account of their parents or guardians. And then you don't have to worry about, or accounts, I guess, because it's, yeah, see how you've got all those in there?
Why are they plural?
Because it could be one parent.
But can we link them to two parents?
Yeah,
Okay.
can we not?
Well, so from personal experience, my children, they are only on me, like I'm the signatory. However, we can all see each other, like if we link them in the app, we can have each other's accounts in the app. But I'm the only signatory for my children's accounts, and my husband is
it
not.
different that there's a signatory versus the link?
So that's why, I don't know, is this linking,
So the reason you can see it on the app is because you
because I put their account
you
numbers
put
in there.
Derek's stuff in there too.
Yes,
So it's not actually linked in Polaris.
correct.
Like if I gave you my stuff, you could see my stuff.
Yes,
In the app.
exactly.
Well, and in the library card policy, it says that if like you have divorced parents, like it's hooked to
Yeah.
one parent. It
That's
can't
right.
be hooked
That's
to
right.
both.
So maybe
For the
there is
primary
no
residence,
plural,
right?
It's just a
Yeah.
parent or a guardian.
So parent or
Yeah.
The
guardian.
parent of their parent or guardian. No. Okay.
There you
Yeah.
go.
All right.
Yeah, because I know that I'm the signatory, Derek is not.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to pay for books that are long. He doesn't.
I don't even want to tell you the number of books that I have paid for and CDs.
Yeah.
When we don't even have a CD player at home. Blame the youngest one for that. And then in F, I just have some commas. In the second line, so to offer services which cannot be provided by the LLD alone, comma, such as. And then 2 down from that, there's another such as. So patrons may choose to provide their personal information, comma, such as email addresses and phone numbers, comma. And then under G, that's where it's the missing dot in lisleLibrary.org. It says by emailing circ@lisleLibrary.org.
Oh, yeah.
So circ@lisleLibrary.org. See, you caught library. And I cut this one.
That's why we need all the eyes. right?
Mhm. I really like all the references to all the other policies too.
I know.
To like say, hey, like, you want more information? Go here.
Yeah.
Because it's,
Yep.
you know, more detailed there. So
Yeah.
I really like that Control F.
Mhm.
Yep.
Very nice.
I didn't have anything else on this one. Do you have anything else?
I like
Are
it.
we comfortable bringing it to the full board?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, agenda item 12 is to discuss LLB policy 420, extension of services to Benedictine University students.
Okay, so this one was last updated in 2002, a long time ago. So on the draft, I removed "and faculty." We've only had students, we've never issued to faculty, and we assume faculty members have their own library cards and can use the library and
Yeah.
in their own towns, so. We removed faculty, completely changed the introduction to reference our policy 100, and then went to A and using the term local use card, and also added B, and just reworded everything, like under 3, we issue it for 1 year from the student's
Yeah.
card registration date instead of what was said before, which was the current school year, because students can use
Go year-round.
during the summer,
Yep.
things like that, breaks. And then B is just totally new responsibilities. We never had a responsibility statement, and I think in the old policy it said that the university would take care of the kids' books, and we called there and they're like, oh no, they're not doing that. So I don't know how that was worked out way back in 2002, but our policy
Right.
is now stating that students are responsible for their materials that they check out. So it's kind of simple changes, but we just wanted to refresh this and make it make sense for us in this day and age.
Do we get a lot of Benedictine?
You know, I think I asked Paul like 2 or 3 weeks ago when I first started this journey of all these policies, and I think 14, I can't remember how many students that aren't Lisle
Yeah.
people. And,
Yeah.
You know, have a little.
But it's nice, I mean, another place for them to go
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anecdotally, we get kids who were in like early childhood classes who needed access to picture books that wouldn't be at the university.
Sure.
library.
Oh, yeah.
So we'd see, at least in youth services, those are the kids that we would see.
That's interesting. That's a good
Nice.
point.
It's a good resource for them.
It is a great resource.
Yeah.
Okay.
One grammatical thing, under A1, students must be enrolled full-time, comma, verified by the bursar's office, comma, and must have a valid BU ID card.
Isn't it in there?
And oh,
It is,
it's
isn't
After
in,
full-time.
you know, it's in the clean, but
Oh,
it's
but
not
not-
in
yeah.
this
It's not
other
in the
one.
edited
Yeah.
one,
that's the
yeah.
one that-
Yeah, it's in the clean.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in the,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
Other than that, I didn't have any other notes.
I just had one question about in B1. In the event of loss or damage to LLD material. So if I got rid of or damage to, in the event of loss, like it wouldn't be loss to LLD, loss
Be of.
of?
Loss of or
But you
damage
wouldn't-
to.
Maybe it could be lost, comma, or damage to.
Yeah.
In the event of loss, comma, or damage to, comma?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wait,
No, I think we.
No.
We're gonna say in the event of loss of or damage to LD
Yeah.
material.
in the event of loss of or damage to, okay.
Got it.
I'm like trying to take the words out to see like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I wonder if in 1996 they were working more closely with Benedictine. Because it said that they would get regularly updated list of students.
I
in
know,
there.
that's
Yeah.
not happening either.
Yeah. I know, it's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other notes? Are we comfortable bringing this under the full board?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Great.
it was probably written when it was still IBC originally, right? 96, it's probably still IBC, or was it already
That's when I was
BU?
first
I
adopted.
think,
Right, but I'm wondering, well, and it was revised in '02, so I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
curious, like, was it still IBC in 96, or was it already BU?
I think it was BU at that
Was it?
point, maybe. That would have been close. I was 8. So.
In 96?
Thanks for that,
Yeah.
I
right.
just graduated from college.
Uh-huh.
Me too. One of my colleges.
Okay, agenda item 13 is to discuss LLD policy 655, piano use.
So believe it or not, this is the most controversial
I-
one.
I'm curious about this one.
Is it really?
Just the way that it's written too, it's like, oh.
Well, I'll say it from the get-go.
Yeah.
We're gonna go over it, but I'm gonna ask that we press pause because there's more to go on this, and that's the,
Oh.
it's not controversial, it's just, we need more work on this. So,
Okay.
last update in 2002. This came about because we had a patron request. We haven't had this in a long time. We've had
Yeah.
people use the piano in the past, but the information in this policy, as it is written, is incorrect. So we needed to update it. So we allow, it's very infrequently used, but when it is used, we don't even reference this policy because it's wrong.
Okay.
So, there's just a new introductory statement there that talks about that. It's the same kind of thing that the Friends have gifted this to us. The conditions for use, has been updated to reference policy 650 under number 1 regarding, reserving the meeting room and using it as part of the program. Added a new number 2 that the library may use it, obviously. And then number 3 basically stays the same. Number 4 is struck because there is no key to the piano and it is not available at the adult services desk on the adult circulation desk, which makes no sense. So that's wrong. Number 5, so this is where we get into the discussion point. So public use of the piano is not meant for continual individual practice sessions, as we reserve the meeting rooms for broad public use. Individual practice use is limited to 1 hour twice a month for any LLD patron who reserves a meeting room in accordance with policy 650. The limited to 1 hour twice a month was something that I used and up for discussion here because we were trying to equate it with kind of study room use because it is a limited resource. Now this is our resource, the piano is our resource, and it is only available in a larger meeting room space. So I threw out for discussion purposes 1 hour twice a month for individual practice, but it wouldn't be like, I talked to Will about this, like anybody who's practicing an instrument, it's at least weekly if you're really trying to learn an instrument. So like this would be for those occasions where I couldn't practice, but anyway, we'll move on. So number 6 is obviously the director can adjust it if, the library happened to need it. The library always takes precedent over other things. And then number 7 is we'll maintain the piano.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can talk about those changes, but I wanted to also bring up, so for the policies that affect obviously public space and things like that, we bring this to department director meetings and things like that. And we were made aware that more recently, a patron asked if they could practice their violin at the library in the meeting room. So that's where somebody's bringing their own resource, their own instrument. And because we don't have a policy on not doing that, we allowed that. Because it would be like if someone wanted to reserve the meeting room for meditation. Like they're not even bringing an instrument or anything. They just wanted to reserve because they need quiet and they wanted to reserve it. There's nothing in our policy, in our meeting room policy that says you can't do that. There's nothing in our meeting room policy that says you can't bring your violin or your drum set or your trombone, okay? So what I'd like to do is bring this back to another personnel and policy committee meeting paired with our meeting room policy to kind of look at that, because things to think about. Like if we allow someone to bring in their violin and the doors are closed and they're practicing their violin, you're not really gonna hear it downstairs or upstairs. If someone brought in their tuba,
Yeah.
it might. So you'd need language in there that would cover like noise and things like that. Or if someone's bringing like their horn, maybe you have a silencer on it or something like that or whatever, muter.
Yeah.
Or, you know, the committee can discuss, like, do we allow that? Is there something in our policy that says these meeting rooms can only be used for groups that are like 5 or more, or 10 or more? Because they're a larger resource for people and we wanna make it available for larger groups. It's just things to think about. Because we have limited space. And
Yeah.
like, would we allow like 2 kids to reserve this room for study time? You know?
What do other?
I mean, you have to be 18 or older to reserve these rooms. So
Right.
like, would we allow like college kids to reserve the room for
Sure.
study?
What do other neighboring libraries say about,
It's all over the board, and
like Naperville, Downers?
I can do a little more research again about how they do that, and I think that's why I'd like to like press pause here. But
Yeah.
I think if the committee wants to like talk about it, we can do that now.
Yeah,
Or
because I
just-
feel like there's a difference between like renting one of these rooms to practice your trombone versus one of like the study rooms, because I feel like the noise would carry
'Cause
more out
these-
there. Like these are
These
kind
are
of
a little
like,
bit separate.
I feel like these ones are, like they're used for story time, you kind of expect there to be more noise over here, but
You can hear John in the lobby during story time.
I was just gonna say, and I
So
mean,
the
the doors
doors
are
are
also
open
who come
too.
out
That's
here
true,
too.
the doors are open,
Yeah.
but,
He's booming, yeah.
John-
and John is a loud
booming.
guy, but he's
Yeah.
not as loud as a trombone.
Not
No.
as loud as a trombone.
I mean, do you get a lot of people that wanna come and do that?
No, that's the other thing, is that if word gets out, that you can reserve
Yeah.
space for your
Yeah.
practice.
Well, these rooms aren't really, none of the rooms are soundproof. I mean, there are practice rooms in schools, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That have sound.
But they
yeah.
are, right, they're proofed for that.
Yep.
And even then, they're not soundproof, do you know what I
Right.
mean? But they're protected a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, and these rooms are a little, you know, it's off sides of like other areas where people are studying or doing computer work or things
Yeah.
like that, outside of the vending area.
But it's still like open, you know, like before the renovation, there were, like for youth services when it was
Yeah.
upstairs, there were glass doors, so there's
That's
still
true.
something blocking, but it's not like that anymore, it's just all
That's
completely
very
open.
true.
So it's just things to think about, because I had, in bringing it to the department, I mean, I didn't know that someone was just most recently reserving the room once a week. And there's nothing in our meeting room policy that stops somebody from reserving the meeting room once a week.
Yeah.
We do have rules for study space, like it's, what is it, twice a week? What is it, twice a week,
Twice a week, 2-hour increments.
2-hour increments?
Mm-hmm.
So we did that because we knew like study space was
Sure.
like
Yep.
prime real estate.
yeah.
But these larger rooms, we really didn't address in terms of limits.
No.
So something to think about. I can do a little more
Mm-hmm.
research with other libraries. We don't have to reinvent the wheel, but you know, we have in our latest renovation, we have more study space, but our meeting rooms stayed the same. We didn't increase that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do like the, like, twice a month for the piano, that seems to make sense, because it kind of, it limits people who would be like doing lessons or something like that.
Yeah,
That would be a once a
right.
week thing,
Mhm.
but it's harder when it's,
But what if somebody brings their own instrument?
yeah.
They're tuba.
So,
Yeah.
but even if we don't continue this conversation right now, we still need to update the policy, right? Because this isn't, the current one isn't
We don't
accurate
have
enough.
to. We really, I mean, we could if
Just
we
because you said
wanted.
like there's no key and there's no
There
adult
is no
simulation
key,
desk and
yes.
like it's not accurate.
Yeah, I mean, we could go with, if we wanna go over this one and just like ask the board to approve the piano use
As of now.
as of now, but it may be adjusted depending on what the committee says about the meeting
The
room.
meeting rooms down the road.
Because this does refer to the meeting room.
I feel like we've done that in the past where we've like done a policy, like started it and then said it's going to be revised. Didn't we do that? I feel like we did that.
But for the meantime,
Probably.
if the group is comfortable with what's written for just the piano at this point in time, we can just,
Do you get lots of calls for people to come in and do the piano?
No.
I mean,
it's not a lot. I mean, sometimes we'll have recitals, like they'll
Yeah.
they'll have families come for a recital or family and friends, but that's, you know.
Interesting.
once
Once a
every
year.
quarter or something like
Yeah,
that. I
yeah.
don't know, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could approve the changes to this policy and then maybe address the meeting room policy next time
Yeah.
as a like noise and appropriate study room usage kind of idea.
Yeah, because the meeting room includes study rooms, that policy.
That policy?
That makes sense.
That's reasonable,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay, so any edits to this guy?
Sounds reasonable to me.
Mhm.
Why was no admission fee taken out of there? Is it just that?
That's in our meeting room policy because they're in the general meeting room policy, it says you cannot charge.
Charge people.
This is just about
Just the piano?
Just the piano use.
because it's our resource in a larger room.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but they would be following the meeting room rules.
Right. And that
Scheduling there.
says that in number 1.
Yeah, it looks good to me. Any other comments?
It's fine.
So we'll bring this one to the full board at the next meeting and
With a
then.
caveat.
And then
yeah.
do the other policy after
the
that?
next one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would like to, because I do have other policies. I'd like to schedule one in February
Great.
if, I don't know if that works with your schedule.
Might, we'll have to see.
We'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the fact that there's so many of these policies that are from 2002,
Yeah, like those
Yeah.
should definitely.
that we,
Yes.
because we had talked before about like revising or just at least looking at them every, I can't remember what we said.
We said every 4 years, but, I mean, some of the policies they never get referenced.
Right.
But as I was going through, I was just going through 100 all the way
Yeah.
down the line.
Yeah.
And as I was going, I was like, these should be addressed now, and then I had a little list on my side of my table saying,
Yeah.
Well,
next meeting.
and
next
as you have said
meeting."
before, like sometimes it's, you know, a new like state statute.
Yes.
And then you have to
You
be
have
in
to do it,
compliance, so
yes.
you're like, well,
Yeah.
we have to do that.
And like the privacy policy, because
Yeah.
we're doing text messaging, we're just moving to another vendor right now, they're asking for our privacy
Yeah.
policies.
We didn't have.
Well, we did provide them with all of our policies that refer to confidentiality and
Okay.
privacy, but they're like, we need to see
We
it."
need to see the actual
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, any other comments? Last thing is to adjourn, so can I have a motion in a second?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Okay, we're adjourned at 8:07.